everybody, and welcome to Launceston, Tasmania. This is the second last round of the V8 Supercar Championship, and this weekend we have the Ferodo Triple Challenge down here at Symmons Plains, the second time that V8 Supercars come back to Tassie in the last couple of years. Everybody's very excited about it, but it's time now for another very exciting episode for the next 90 minutes of the Panel Beaters, brought to you by Big Pond. And of course, the man that normally sits to my left-hand side during these little ventures every couple of weeks is one Gregory Rust. He's bludging in Western Australia at the moment, pretending to be interested in rally cars, which nobody's interested in. We're all about V8 Supercars, and alongside me is Diffey.
Hello,
Leigh,
mate.
Diffey, how are you, mate?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, we couldn't get anybody else, so we thought we'd give you a call. Bradley Jones, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Cromley. I was a bit worried you might have sacked Rusty, because there's a bit of that going on in pit lane at the moment.
Yeah, there's a bit of it
Been
going
replaced
on
for the last two events.
And if Rusty's watching on the other side of the country, I'm sure we've got him and all his mates over there jumping about rally now. Well, this is important. This is a World Rally Championship, and we've got lots to talk about.
Where is he again?
Who cares? No one cares. It's all happening down here. It's all happening in this paddock at the moment, this category of racing. There's a lot going on, because down the other end, tucked away, wearing different colours from the last time that we saw him. Welcome to the program, James Courtney.
Thank you very much.
We didn't really notice, there wasn't much talk about this, but you seem to be wearing different uniform than when we last saw you. What happened? Something happened?
The red really didn't really suit me, so I went for blue.
That was certainly the biggest news in the last couple of weeks since the the last round of the championship at the Gold Coast, and the announcement was made on the Monday week after we were all at the Gold Coast. There'd been a lot of speculation about you, James, being involved with the team, but you were busy running around doing your Japanese GT thing, and this all came together pretty late.
Yeah, it's all come together really late, really. But no, it's a great deal, and it all come together really quickly, and it's great. It's a great opportunity. It's something that I couldn't really turn down. We were looking to go back to Japan, but no, it was good.
Couldn't stand the food?
Well, the food wasn't too bad.
When you got Alan Gower as your manager, things happen fast, don't they? He's a can-do man, isn't he?
I hope he's watching.
Yeah, I hope he's watching it as well.
And
got a sneaking suspicion that deal was done a long time ago, but anyway.
I got a sneaking suspicion he wouldn't be out of bed at this point in time over there, because it's probably, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning.
He doesn't get out of bed until 10, does he?
And certainly for nothing less than $1 million.
But James, you had the best of both worlds with racing in Japan, though, didn't you? Because you went there to compete, then came back to Australia to live, so it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad, but
it's a long flight, isn't it?
Oh, the flight is a little bit long, but you get used to it after a while. But the championship that I was in, you had to share your car with someone else, and I'm quite selfish like that. And the guy
you do that at Bathurst, you know.
Yeah, but that's only 2 times a year. I had to do it every race, but but no, the guy was sort of letting me down a bit. And
do you think he'd be watching?
I can
What's his
guarantee
name again?
that he wouldn't be watching.
What's his name? You want to slag him? Because we can jump
yeah,
in. We're good at that.
Don't worry, you start it and we'll finish him off.
We won't tell anybody.
What's his name?
Tachiya Takeshi.
Tosser.
Yeah. What would he know?
Let's face it, what would he know?
Wasn't he the same guy that drove with Gardner?
He was.
The same guy, yeah.
Did he lose Gardner the championship as well, like he lost you the championship?
I don't know.
Yeah. We don't like him.
Didn't he pay a fortune to Tester Jordan just recently?
No, that was my other teammate.
How many teammates have you got?
We've got 3. There's 2 cars with 4 drivers. But no, they offered him the driver Jordan next year.
Did they?
Yeah.
Provided he could bring the money.
He could bring 12
they said,
million?
we'll do you a special deal. It's only 15 million euros.
Fantastic.
He said to me, what do you think? Do you think it's a good deal? And I went,
if you've got 15 million euro...
that seems to me like you'd be saving money, really.
Yeah.
That's applying the female mentality of, look, honey, how much money I've saved you today when I went shopping. And you go, have I really got this completely straight?
Everything was on sale.
You raced last weekend in monsoonal conditions in Japan, and the championship, which was up for grabs, you could have won the Japanese GT championship, went sour. I spoke to you briefly about it today. I picked up some of the information on the net in this past week. Just explain to us what happened.
Well, as you said, we had a massive downpour just before the start of the race, so they delayed the starting of the race for an hour. Then they
what circuit was it at?
At Suzuka, Brad.
All right, yep.
And then they so they cut a third of the race out to make up for the time difference, and then they kept the same pit window, so my teammate only had to do 5 laps. I wanted to start the race, but the team decided that it was best. I wanted him to start the race, and get his pit stop over and done with quite quickly in case of safety cars and whatnot. But the team wanted to go the other way and wanted me to start and him to do the last 5 laps, and we got to the lead and had a big enough gap so I could pit and come out and he would still be in the lead, but decided not to, and I kept running. Then there was a safety car, and then everyone was bunched up again. We only had 10 laps till the window closed. I managed to pull a 12-second lead, and he came out in third and dropped to fifth in 5 laps.
Wow.
And he only had to finish fourth, and we would have won the championship. So it was a little bit disappointing.
So it's fair to say that.
Yeah, I hope he wasn't wandering around with a machete after the race, would he? He's a bit action going on.
And I hear
there.
that if you hadn't taken the Stone Brothers job, you were looking forward to being an ambassador for Japanese business interests in Australia.
Yeah.
He talks it up, doesn't he?
Yeah, you just love those guys. Can't say enough about them.
Yeah, you've been there. You know what it's like.
Yeah, that's why I asked about the flight. Man,
Yeah.
they're not great communicators, but anyway.
You would have been tough finding something to eat there too, wouldn't you?
I couldn't bread rolls, and I used to take a lot of Activite in a tin with me, so it wasn't so bad.
They
You
just wanted
enjoyed the
Red
flight
frogs,
to China,
there's plenty of red frogs.
Hey,
Huh?
you enjoyed the flight to China this year.
Everybody on the plane was drunk except for me, and I had to pretend to be asleep, and then fend
He was
people
thinking
off.
about joining the Mile High Club. He asked Darryl Beattie and I, should he do it?
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they did with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James, you've had an opportunity to sample one of the, just straightening the program up because we are in a fairly early time slot. You had an opportunity to drive the SBR car at Ipswich out at Queensland Raceway last week. What were your first impressions, and did the team look favourably upon your time in the car?
Yeah, it was great to get an opportunity to drive the car before the end of the year. They put a spare seat in the car, like a passenger ride, and I went around with Marcus just to have a look at what he did. And then they gave me a run, and first of all I just did brake pads and that sort of stuff, and then they gave me a little bit of a run at the end of the day, and we went really quite well. And I think
Was
the
he as
team
good
was
as
quite
the
happy.
last fantastic bloke that took you for a ride at Queensland
Not quite,
Raceway?
not quite.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
That'd be our old Uncle Neil.
It was Uncle Neil.
Yeah, you could learn a thing or two, that Ambrose.
Yeah.
I think you may have actually taught him, Neil.
Yeah.
Techniques were quite similar.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. What did you notice between the two cars? What was the biggest difference?
Biggest
One's
difference
blue,
was-
one's red.
And also the seating position was very different. You sit a lot more central in the forward.
Oh, really?
Apart from that, looks a little bit different inside as well, as you can imagine.
People often ask that question, though, in all seriousness, don't they? They expect there to be some big difference, but it's a parity formula where the whole notion is that both cars should end up very similar. So it was a few years ago, but I did the same thing. You jump from one to the other, and if someone taped up your eyes, you wouldn't particularly notice the difference one way or another. It's a race car with similar traits, exactly the same tyres, similar weight, similar horsepower, similar everything.
Yeah, it was. Also, it was. You can notice little differences, but no, like you said, it was quite similar.
Sorry, mate, if you had your time over again, just going back to Bathurst, would you have preferred Jimmy to start?
Jimmy did start.
Yeah,
Jimmy
Courtney.
Little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy.
No, not really. I think I would have liked to done it the same. I wouldn't have liked to rub the wall so early, but it's things that happen. I enjoy starting the races. No, there wouldn't be anything I would change apart from that.
Have you had James on the show since then, or not? This is the first time?
I don't think we've punished him since then. We punished him at Bathurst.
Yeah.
That was on the Friday night, so he made the mistake after that, which was lucky for him.
What happened? Were you just unsighted, caught in the train? And
Yeah, we had a little bit of a problem with the dash, and they had run all their stuff on the steering, and it was flashing, and I was talking with Matty in the pit, trying to fix it and sort it out. And when you're doing that, Bradley might be the same, but you can sort of drive right behind someone and not really pay too much attention. And as we're coming out over the top, I noticed a bit of dust coming out from Mr. Bright's car, and he was running very close to the wall, and I realised that I was going to be running close to the wall as well, so tried to turn a little bit harder, and it had a little bit of understeer, and I just glanced at the wall, but didn't really hit it hard at all. It didn't damage the body at all, but it just hit the right place.
Were you disappointed they didn't get it going again?
Very. Yeah, I wanted to also wanted to get out there and do some more laps, but it was a little bit disappointing.
From the point of view of now jumping into Marcus's car for the 2006 season, it puts you right into a pressured scenario instantaneously. You've not done a sprint race in a V8 Supercar. You've done a heap of other racing, obviously, and had great success. Are you comfortable with... You right there, Bradley?
Well, I mean, yeah, let's keep on going with the question.
No, but are you comfortable that there's enough time between now and the start of the new championship next year for you to be settled in, understand the cars? Because the expectation in the market of all of the people attached to the team and the fans attached to the team and so on is that you'll step right into those shoes and be off the bat able to do that job.
Yeah, with the pressure side of things, it doesn't really bother me because, as you know, every career, team change or whatnot that I've done, it's always been with the team that's won the championship the year before or has featured very highly. So that side of things doesn't bother me. But as for time in the car, I think we showed at Bathurst that we are quite quick, like there or thereabouts.
When you say we,
on.
you mean you, don't you?
Yeah, me and the team. Ding, Bradley.
Got a touch of the Seals. Got a touch of the Craigs about it.
We're going to do really well this weekend.
You've been talking to Alan too much. But anyway, so I think it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it's only something that time will tell.
Is there any discussion at this point about how you'll attack 2006? You know, is there going to be much of an opportunity to run before the first race of the year and so on? A
lot of it depends on the new rules that are coming in, maybe with the rookie.
Yeah, the 3 extra test days.
That would help.
Good timing.
Yeah, it'd be great timing. But also I'll be doing the 3-seater rides for the rest of the year.
I know, so got it here this weekend. You're going to have a bit of a run?
I'll be driving on Monday. You want to come for a run?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, could be interesting. So you're having a run around here on Monday?
Yeah. We have a few rides on Monday, so it'll be great, and we're going to try and do that for the rest of the year, just at quite a few different circuits, just to get a bit of time.
We should point out that practice was run today for a couple of hours. All of the guys, not including James, but all 32 cars were out on the circuit. We had dry conditions with just a very tiny sprinkle of rain at one point about 3/4 of the way through the session, and the fastest man was Stephen Richards, a 51.79. I dug up the times from the corresponding session this time last year. Marcus was the fastest man on Friday, and he recorded a time that was just on a second slower. Now, the second half of the racetrack's been resurfaced since we were here last year.
Looks good too.
Looks fantastic. The track's in beautiful nick, but it's certainly smartened itself up in terms of grip, and that's very speedy around here, Bradley. 179 for Richo. Rick Kelly was second fastest in the HSV dealer team car. Craig Lowndes in the 888 Race Engineering entry. Jason Bright, Garth Tander, Greg Murphy, then Todd Kelly, Paul Radisish, Jason Richards and Mark Scaith. That's the top 10. Then Stevie Ellery, Marcus Ambrose, Cam McConville, Paul Dumbrell, Russell Ingle. So Ambrose and Ingle down the order a little bit. There is always the confusion on Friday as to who's done what in terms of tyre usage. What tyres do they use, James?
Just the old ones.
Just the old ones. There you go. It's good having an insider, isn't it? And looking further down the order, Bradley, I spoke to you briefly in the middle of the session. You were a bit stressed in terms of what the car was or wasn't doing for you. Ended up 23rd, but the thing that's amazing about this racetrack with its 2.5 odd kilometre layout is just how close all these times are. It's staggering. Oh,
it is staggering. It just, a tenth of a second here. Actually, it's towards the end of the session when people started putting new tyres on and good tyres on, they tended to spread out a little bit, but midway through the session there was less than a second between everyone.
And if it's, I know you'd be personally frustrated because there's a racer deep down there inside, but you're 2/10 quicker than Marcus was this time last year. So
yeah, it's great.
If you can just transpose time, then you'd be in good shape.
Thanks.
You
should be doing my PR.
Well, I try and help where I can.
It was a weird session though with the rain. I mean, how much does it need to rain in these cars before you can actually has an effect?
Not a lot. It just really depends how much heat you've got in your tyres, and that shower towards the end was really the end.
That was the big one, but there was sprinklings of rain.
Yeah, and you notice everyone stopped as soon as that happened. The other thing is we're limited by laps, so you don't really want to be sliding around in the damp or not even on the damp if there's anything wrong with the circuit at all. So, pardon me, as soon as that started to happen, everyone came into the pits and waited until the track was okay. But the other thing is, towards the end, when I had my run at the end, someone had gone off and dropped a heap of dirt on turn 2, and really, even though we have a good range of laps, you can't, when you only got 5 to go, you just got to go okay, because by the time you get your tyres up to temperature, do your lap, it's the end of it. So there's plenty going on towards the end, and there's a few cars going off. Murph had a huge spin on the
Did you
pit
see what happened?
No.
He spun coming onto the main straight, and he was almost like the full car was in the sandpit, and he reversed out with the flow of traffic up, reversed halfway up the main straight, and then got going
really?
again.
How did he go? Can you do that again?
Like that?
Can you do it one more time?
No, twice only.
We are going to take a break on the panel beaters. We're down in Launceston at Symmons Plains. James, Courtney, thanks for dropping by once again. What shirt will you wear next time we see you?
I'll be wearing the same one.
Oh, okay, very good. And someone asked us actually earlier in the day, just quickly before we go, how long's your deal there for?
3 years.
3 years. All right, so we've got ample opportunity to just punish the living daylights out of you for the next 1,000 days. Congratulations on the opportunity, James, and we'll see more of you. James Courtney, give him another round of applause, everybody. And we shall take a break on the panel beaters, and we'll come back to talk to another bloke who's got some interesting news. Stay with us. Welcome back to Launceston. It's panel beaters with you on Big Pond, and I've got a panel of lunatics up here with me this evening, including Leigh Diffey and Bradley Jones. That'd be Leigh and that'd be Brad. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Very good.
Don't you say hello?
Right on cue. He's a great
hello.
entertainer, that Bradley Jones. And our special guest joining us on the left-hand end of the panel is a man who's got some big news. His shirt changes in 2006. Welcome, Jamie Whincup.
Thank you, Neil.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Great to see you, mate.
Tell us your story. What have you got to say for yourself? What are you up to?
Oh, yeah, a bit of an announcement today, actually. Bit of a change. I'll be moving to 888, moving across to Ford.
You know that's a very dangerous seat to have.
Yeah,
why
Craig
is
the
that?
Knife.
Craig the Knife, mate. You obviously don't pay attention to
You
panel
obviously
beaters.
don't watch panel beaters.
You don't
enough.
watch panel beaters. You're not part of the whole Big Pond thing. Craig the Knife. Go through the list of teammates that he's had.
Yeah,
See
he
where they
stabs
are
them all.
now.
Yeah, no, I've researched all that.
They're gone.
I've seen the
He's a smiling
the
assassin.
number 2 driver at 888, but I'm...
No, it's not just 888, mate. It
Everywhere.
goes way back.
Oh,
is it really?
From the
Right.
beginning of time, really,
Craig
wasn't
the
it?
Knife.
It
Craig
should,
the Knife.
it should be a good challenge for me then.
Remember, you heard it here first.
Yeah, and don't be afraid of that smile. Yeah, he's a dangerous, dangerous
What
man.
would your preference be? 2IC in a video shop or a fish and chip shop? Eh?
Well, time will tell, won't it? Time will tell. But, yeah, no, I've obviously looked at all that type of stuff, and, yeah, no, I'm confident.
It's a great opportunity.
Good job.
We're having a bit of fun with you, but it's a big chance for you in a top-level team with a great teammate that everybody loves and respects. So it's a real opportunity for you to show your worth. And clearly Roland Dane, your new boss, shares the faith.
Yeah, no, they've been very good to me. It only happened we only started talking 2 or 3 weeks ago, and yeah, they got a deal together very quickly. It was very quick. They are very professional about it, and it's great to see Ford. We had James up here before. It's great to see Ford get behind the young blokes, and myself, James, and maybe another couple. They look after Brad as well. Another,
Yeah, I'm a young bloke.
all the young
Gee, that's
guys.
a compliment.
I love the way
Yep.
you actually had Brad in the young bloke category.
Yeah.
I've always said that Jamie Whincup, he's a talent and he's
Yeah.
going places. And if Craig the Knife's hammering you too hard, you come talk to me. I'll sort it out for you.
So clearly now that you've jumped the fence, that thing of yours doesn't run too well on 7 cylinders. 'Cause today you've ended up 20th on a 52.5. They pluck a plug lead off there for
Oh no! Tasman have been fantastic to me all year, and they, we're running 13th in the championship, so we're trying to get up another 3 spots, and it's it's a lot of value to me, and also Tasman to get in the top 10. So they're working pretty hard, but today's results are pretty ordinary, so we'll turn that around for tomorrow.
you. In all seriousness, great outcomes for you in the 2 endurance races, and it looked to me like you had very enjoyable time. You know, it's always good when you get on the podium, but they're great races, aren't they? You can sink your teeth into them, and if your car's good and you're in rhythm and you've got a high level of confidence, it's very pleasurable.
Yeah, absolutely. The key to us at Bathurst was to stay out of trouble and have a car that was comfortable to drive. Like, we could drive that car reasonably quick, and it didn't want to bite us. So we were fully confident with it under brakes over the top of the hill into Skyline. It was a very easy car to drive, and we were sort of saving our sort of mental strength as well. When you've got a car that you can rely on, it's easy to do lap after lap consistently. So, hey, it was fantastic. I never dreamed of being on the podium at Bathurst, but now we've got one. I want more and want to keep moving up and go one better.
Your final stint at Bathurst was pretty impressive when you were reeling Todd Kelly in. Was that one of the highlights of your career?
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, the car felt good. I felt good. I was told I was double stinting, so I was just getting into the rhythm of things. I think Todd wasn't at his best. He said he had a bit of a sore back and whatnot. So he made me look good a little bit, but...
Jamie. What you have to do is you have to say, look, the fact of the matter is that I'm red hot.
Yeah.
That Todd Kelly is a tosser. I've always thought he was, and I was just mowing him down based on ability. You can't do that nice guy stuff.
Oh.
You cannot do the nice guy stuff.
He's learning from Craig already.
Oh, yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Watch Craig the Knife.
But no. Hey, it was a good stint. I didn't put a foot wrong, and
Yeah, you're a legend.
we brought it home.
Just ask me. Now, I completely forgot what I was going to say there. I had a point of view that was on that was something that jumped up here on the email. I know what it was. It was just in relation to the announcement that 888 made today. You're going to be appearing at a function, an all-Ford day in early December, I believe, with the team. So your activities start very quickly.
Yeah. My contract with Tasman finishes at midnight of the last race. So after that, I'll be moving to Queensland, or as quick as I can. I'll be up there involved with the team, and they've got 2 or 3 things before the end of the year: test days,
so
ride
you're going
days.
to have a run in the car?
Hopefully, we're not 100%, but there's a bit of talk of that. There's also the day you're talking about out at Queensland, where I can mingle with the fans and the media and really get the ball rolling before the start of next year.
And better electrical sponsors should be fantastic for your toaster collection and whatever else you need in the house.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
with the big moving out of home, you'll be able to go and get a television, a fridge.
Yeah. Not to mention LG make pretty good stuff as well. So
that's right.
I'll buy the house.
If you mention it enough, you should be able
up.
to pretty well fill the house.
Well, a bit of luck. I'm eyeing off the big LG plasma at the moment.
Will you walk away with happy memories of this year, because this was the formation year of your career, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said before, Tasman have done a great job. They give me an opportunity. They've given me equal equipment. The guys have been great. I get along with everyone in the team. The management have been very good. Obviously, they were disappointed at that I wasn't staying on.
It's funny because earlier today when we bumped into them, they said they can't wait to see the back of you.
Well, no. From my side of things, they've done a great job, and it was a little bit of bad luck that I'm not there next year. They were looking at someone else at the time where I wanted to do something, so they wanted to hold me off. But as it turned out, I'm moving on, and I'll have very good memories from Tasman Motorsport.
I think you missed your joke.
I didn't miss it, but but it is a great opportunity. In all seriousness, I mean, you're in with Lowndes, who's as good a measuring stick as you can get, and
apart from being a mongrel, he's a good
guy. A friend of the show.
Yeah, great friend of the show.
I just think it's a great opportunity for you, Jamie.
Yeah, I think I can learn a lot. I think the team have got unbelievable current form at the moment, and they sort of, from looking from the outside, they sort of blow me away a bit, the amount of speed they got and the way the cars handle, and you look back and think, gee, how do they do that? So, and also Craig drives in a very certain way, or a very different way, that I don't really understand at the moment either. So it'd be great to get there, see how the team works, see how Craig works, see how they do 2:07 around Mount Panorama, and really learn as much as I can, and especially the first year, and then the year after, really go all out to run competitively in the championship.
So if you've just joined us on Panel Beaters, the news for 2006 is that the young man down the end of the panel here at the moment who's driving for Dodo Racing, Jamie Whincup, he'll drive with 888 Race Engineering next year and join Craig Lowndes and be swapping from Holden to Ford, whereas earlier we spoke to James Courtney, who's gone the other way just in recent weeks. It's a fantastic opportunity, mate. Congratulations once again. Good luck with it, and we really appreciate you coming on the program tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Neil. Thanks very much for having me. And
Jamie
Leigh.
Whincup, let's give him a round of applause. Because we've got a massive studio audience, which I might mention we've got a big studio audience coming into our final program of the year down at Phillip Island. Now, just before we go to the break, I just want to make mention of the Big Pond Grand Finale breakfast, which we need to plug as well. 24th of November, it's at the Crown Casino. Huge array of drivers are going to be there. It's $85 per person. Sit-down breakfast. It'll be a fantastic gig. All the details are on the V8 Supercar website. You're going to be there for that, Bradley?
What day is it?
Thursday.
It'll be the 24th of November,
Thursday,
which is the Thursday.
I'll be there.
You'll be there?
I'll be there. If you're there, I'm there.
No, I won't be there.
I'll be there.
Hey, we could do a Panel Beaters from there.
We could, but I won't be there. I'm going to take a break right now, have a little battle with Bradley, because I've got some questions to ask Bradley when we come back in a moment. Thanks again, Jamie. Good luck this weekend. We'll be back right after the break.
Welcome back to the Panel Beaters. You're here with Neil Crompton, Greg Rust, and I'd like to welcome Craig Baird to the show.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
That was a fabulous welcome back, Bradley.
Yeah.
That was.
Could you amp it up a bit? Try it again. Just do it with a bit more
No,
zest.
not doing it again. That's it. That's my one and only for tonight.
He's
You
even
blokes
blushing
hammer me
a little
to
bit.
No, I'm not. Have I got colour?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a bit. Yeah, you have a little bit.
Shouldn't be hammering me.
Well, we should be, because we're a little disappointed in you and your organisation at the moment, Bradley.
Yeah, really? What, didn't get that extra pay this week?
No, we went Stephen Wood, the producer of the V8 Supercar coverage on Network 10, and also the
Twice Slogie
winner, fine producer of this program, the Panel Beaters, who's
Who I
sitting
love
off,
like a brother.
like
Woody.
a brother. Woody, we like to call him. Off camera left, can't see him at the moment. We went into your garage earlier in the day to just talk business, to find out how things are going at PJR. we copped a very ugly spray from your
did
brother.
not.
Ugly it was.
you?
Yeah, I felt like I was, you know, I almost consider myself to be a family member.
Did Kim give you one of those, "You are wrong"?
Yeah.
Like, where was that at this year?
Oh,
Adelaide or
name
somewhere in New
the
Zealand?
race meeting. And because apparently, I mean, it just slipped by because it was such a low-level incident, but apparently, as the broadcaster, we're such black hats that we made Bradley swear. He had an accident at the Gold Coast. It was our fault. He had an accident. He whacked the wall, something to do with ability, grip, fences, all that. And he swore, and it's our fault. So he's been warned officially by the what are they? EIA? What are they? What's it called? The
you're very brave
Peter
when
Wallerman.
you can't be fined, aren't you?
Very brave.
I've never heard you swear on the radio, Beardo.
You never swear. You're a professional.
Right.
So professional is Craig Baird that when I spent some rest time on the Gold Coast after the last event, I went to visit our good friend Darryl Beattie at where he lives. I won't mention it.
Was he drunk?
No, and I saw Craig training. He's out in the beating sun, the middle of the day, real professional. No swearing going on there, just athleticism.
What was he doing? Drinking beer and having a smoke?
No. He was on it. Unlike yourself, you were sitting around swearing about getting caught for swearing.
Yeah.
Look,
I probably would swear, but the fine's like 85 grand, isn't it?
No, it's 2.5.
Oh, you found out?
He gets fined 85.
That's right. Just actually flashed back to me. It's just come to me in an instant that you virtually tore your car in half in New Zealand and you still didn't swear.
Still didn't swear, mate. Just an absolute gentleman.
Yeah, I'll bet you didn't swear. That's right.
I think Gory did.
Yeah, that's right.
Just.
Craig Baird for Prime Minister. Now, Beardo, this doesn't look good. I reckon there's half a chance you might swear after looking at the sheets at the end of the day. 31st.
Does your neck go down that far?
It's not good. 53-1. No, it's only. I could barely tilt down. It was like I had the helmet on. So 1.3 seconds away on this track. That's not good. So tell us what your issues were for today. The issues du jour.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, we were pretty disappointed because we'd sort of been making a bit of progress.
Good progress. Yeah.
And Bez and I both sort of ran okay at Indy. And we came here, we tried a few things and had a few sort of updates, but we've been quite quickly unbolting them this evening.
Yeah, no doubt. So, I mean, it's unusual to drop that much time from race to race, and clearly in the last couple of race meetings you've been reasonably competitive, as Leigh pointed out.
You know, Wally's one of those engineers that's always looking for the angle, and we came here with something a bit different, and after emptying the truck out, we think we've sort of found our problems. So,
how are you finding working with Wally? He's a character, isn't he? I mean, I really like him. I've worked with him a couple of times, but his style is a bit different.
It is a bit different. But
we're talking about Ian Walburn, who's the engineer for Craig and David at.
He's a very clever guy, though, isn't he?
Very, very practical. Knows what's going on. I don't think he really likes the computer side of it too much. He'd probably prefer to be, 10 years ago where you weren't maybe having to be in a laptop every 2 seconds. But
when did you work with him, Brad?
When I was racing NASCARs and Oscars and stuff, he came and did my NASCAR for a couple of road races. And he's what you said, he's a racer's engineer. There's two types. There's the young guy that's come along with a computer that everything has a maths equation to come to a result. And then there's the old racer type, which is Wally Walburn and Wally Story and Phil Curtis, Jimmy Stone, those sorts of guys who probably don't spend a lot of time looking at computers, and I guess the right answer is somewhere in the middle. It's curious, different parts of pit lane have got different blokes, and they all get the result.
And you really need one of each.
Yeah, you do.
I think that's exactly right.
If you can melt them down and come up with a concept somewhere in the middle, you should be half okay.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Craig, we've been talking about 2006 tonight. What's the news from WPS? Is it all pretty much status quo? You and David Bernard will remain as the drivers. Is there going to be any other personnel change or?
Oh, look, we're certainly looking at increasing the engineering base and structure, but I believe I'm still there. I've got a contract to be there. I think Bezzy's got to put his autograph on the bottom of a bit of paper, but I think that's...
Last couple of races, Gory'd have to be happy with Bezzy, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, look, he's...
They've got a bit of a love-hate thing going, haven't they?
I honestly think a lot of the dramas that's happened to Bezzy over the last year and a half hasn't really been his fault. He's probably been trying to extract too much out of a car that hasn't been a top 10 car and firing it off the road, and it happens. He's been wanting to be in the top 10. He's won races before. He knows he's a talented guy, and if you overdrive and you try too hard, you make mistakes, and that's exactly what's happened. And he's had a few different teammates that's quite well known. Gory's put a few people in the second car that have run along, and
actually, you'd have lasted longer than anyone probably, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
New world record.
It is. Which is good, mate.
Yeah, it's good.
That's why I keep going running, Cromley.
That's right. It's a good problem to have. Keep on running, Beardo. There's been a lot of news in this last week since we last met on the panel. Beardo, there's been an awful lot going on. James Courtney signed with Stone Brothers Racing for 3 years. Jamie Whincup is with 888. Jason Richards has re-signed now with Dodo Racing, Tasman Motorsport. This last couple of race meetings down here in Tassie, and then the grand finale, we've got David Brabham in at Ford Performance Racing. Owen Kelly this weekend is driving in the Larry Perkins Autobarn
He did a pretty
entry.
good job today, you
Did
know.
a very good job.
He was 22nd, and at one stage he was early in the session. He was in the top 10. So
Their cars are pretty fast. You know, Traddy's
17th.
17th. Thank you.
That's a good
I'm looking at the Ute
That's
results
what
here.
they put me on.
At Bradley, he's sharp, you know.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Glenn
Sharon.
Seaton this weekend, even though he had an engine problem today and ended up down the bottom of the charts, he starts his 200th Touring Car Championship event, not race, event. Dick Johnson started 202, Peter Brock started 212, so it's a bit of a milestone this weekend for Cito, who's not far away from being the longest serving Touring Car Championship driver ever.
And there's a lot of
would have been. Didn't Brad do 300?
Yeah.
that was 300.
Kilometres an hour at Bathurst.
You would have done 300 Oscar races, wouldn't you?
Oh, no,
Yeah, but they took 100 off him for swearing.
yeah.
A bloke who's got 100 starts to his credit, or he will have this weekend, is Jason Bargwana, and of all things this weekend he's got chicken pox.
He looks crook too, doesn't he?
I haven't spotted him.
Yep.
I don't want
Oh,
to go.
Neil. Oh, very good.
Do you like that?
Yeah, nice.
Sorry.
You warming that up in front of the mirror before we got here
Haven't spotted him.
tonight? Yeah. Haven't spotted him.
Do you like that?
Yeah,
it's
great.
congratulations to Marcus and Sonia Ambrose for the birth of their new baby daughter Tabitha, who came along on the 30th of October. I've even got the numbers here. Look at this, 7 pounds 11 ounces. I'm starting to sound like a girl. People have said that before. Paul Wheel is standing down from full-time driving at the end of the 2005 championship, so that's a pretty big call for a bloke who's in a good car in a regular seat and actually has ownership control, like yourself, Bradley. You can make the calls and decide what your own future's going to be. And
Well,
so
it's interesting that team was originally built around him, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
his dad started it off, so I was a bit surprised that he's pulled the pin, but obviously, you know.
They're very busy outside the racetrack, though, aren't they? His dad is, and he is with the PWR Performance Products Company, and I mean they're exporting to Europe and the States and Asia and New Zealand, and apparently the company is growing unbelievably. So
They need someone honest to count the money, do they?
Yeah, they could give you a call.
Yeah,
then
that's right,
again,
I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, Brad. 1, 2, 3, 4, Brad. 1, 2, 3, 4, Brad.
Mark Winterbottom and Larkin Motorsport have announced this week that they're parting company, and of course this gives rise to speculation about who goes where.
Oh yeah, you're going to
Who
speculate?
goes where sounds like an old Formula One driver, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, no, you can speculate. Which one of you Pelicans would like to have a stab at who might be going to fill some vacant seats
I think
here and
Rusty
there?
knows.
Yeah, Rusty, would you like...
well, you know, as they say, paddock talk suggests that he's off to FPR land. So
Who's he? As in Winterbottom?
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's yet to be announced, though, isn't it?
Cameron McConville, I believe, is going to be on our program tonight. So there's a bit of chat about him at the moment. We might put it on him.
Oh, he's asked me to do an announcement for him.
Live and exclusive right here on Big Pond.
You heard it here first.
Bit of chat around about Steve Ellery as well. Obviously, he's on the move from 888, vacating the seat that Jamie Whincup's taking. Does anyone want to have a nudge at where he might
Well, I
land?
don't think he knows where he's going to end up, but I think he'd be more than half the reasonable chance to end up at Larko's place.
I'd have to second that.
Queensland team makes sense.
Queensland-based Ford team, yeah.
There you go. We've got a lot of chat here to get through. There's a lot going on this weekend, because when you've got top 5 guys separated by 110 points, you've got the 3 races for the Ferodo Triple Challenge this weekend, and then the 3 races coming up at Phillip Island. A lot of points on offer, and just the way that, I mean, we belled on about the points situation, but the way it's structured, it does give the impression at this point that it's going to go right down to the wire. So there's an awful lot at stake. Bradley, what's the problem?
A couple of things. One, I just remembered that I forgot something very important tonight, and I've been carting it around with me since Indy. I can't believe it. I found a news, so you might remember.
Oh,
those
no,
regular
I
viewers.
do know this.
Yeah,
I do
be
know.
quiet, I'm talking. You might remember when we were at Indy, I was talking about a windscreen, and actually Neil and Rusty were talking about a windscreen, and I said, wow, it'd need to be in a big box. And these
Just go back and explain it, because it was about the windscreen that got caved in at Bathurst at
Correct.
Craig's.
Yep.
And there was a function, and it raised money. It was $7,000.
$7,000.
$7,000,
Yeah. So anyway, they hammered me about that. That was just one of the few things they hammered me about on that particular show. And all I said was, wow, they'd have to make a big box to put that broken windscreen in. And he's like, what makes you think it's in a box? Anyway, the next day I'm going through the newspaper and here's a picture of it in a box.
And so I might mention the tag to this story is that after 7 or 8 grueling years on the road in motorsport with no brakes, I thought, look, I owe myself and my family a week off after the Gold Coast. I'm going to relax and have a nice time. Might even catch up with my old buddy Brad and his fine wife and family. So in the middle of that week, while I'm sitting by the pool with shorts and t-shirt, whatever, someone comes up to me and goes, hey, idiot, I've got something for you. Have a look at this. This is in the middle of my holiday. And he pulls out this thing out the back of his scrunchy Dax. And there's a skanky photo in there of the windscreen in the box.
I might add that he read the newspaper, he looked at the form guide, which was what it was on the back of, and he went through the form guide and he went over the newspaper. He goes, I don't see any message here for me.
Yeah.
And I went, look again, fool, look again.
Yeah.
There's the picture down there.
Yeah.
Windscreen in a box.
Yeah.
I was right.
All right,
That's
just
the first thing, isn't it?
Dan,
Is
if
that
you
the
can just
second
pan left a little and just zoom into your zoom into your host, that would be me. On behalf of all tossers like myself, I fully and wholesalely apologise 150% to Bradley Jones because I was wrong. Hey, did you like that?
Oh, that's impressive.
Hey?
A little insincere, but I'll take it anyway.
You can throw to the break now, smartass.
And do it with a bit more zest.
Is it at the end of Craig?
Craig, no swear
Is he finishing?
Hey?
Is that the end of Craig? Or is he
I think it's the end of Craig.
Yeah.
Are you happy to be at the end of?
Yes,
Yes, he is very happy.
Get me away from Bradley, fast.
I'd like to thank Craig Baird for being on the show tonight. Sensational job. Warm round of applause.
Thank you, Bradley.
And we'll be back with more from the panel beaters straight after this break.
Welcome back to Panel Beaters. We are raving on, and we have another.
Wow, that's a good Brad Jones impersonation.
Well, yeah, we were just impersonating Brad doing the welcome back, and normally he's very lively and energetic, and it's all hey ho ho. And when our producer told him he was doing the welcome back, it was
it's because you two hammer me.
Welcome back to Panel Beaters. This is Big Pond. You're listening and watching. Welcome, I'm with my friends. I'm Brad Jones.
He's never spoken like that in his life.
And then he went back to normal mongrel mode. He sucks, he can't drive. Listen to me, BAC.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do have a special guest from Gary Rogers Valvoline Racing.
Is he? Let's just double check his jacket.
Oh, yes.
Double check.
For the moment.
Be nice.
Cameron McConville, welcome, Cameron.
Thanks very much for having me.
Listen,
it's the highlight of my day.
You two hammer our guests so hard. It's surprising that
we're all friends in this industry.
Absolutely.
I saw Cameron today. This is one of the. This is one of the.
James Courtney was crying when he walked off set.
Yeah, well, he'll soon harden up.
James,
all right, my son.
Cameron today had a very tough day. Not only on the track, although he did very well time-wise. He ended up
put new tyres on at the end.
13th. Hey?
You put new tyres on.
No, they were old travellers.
They were not. I saw them roll them out.
They had every Barter-card Miss V8 Supercar girl lined up. The line went all the way down the back of his garage.
Really?
They were coming one at a time. Every single girl was photographed.
Has the jaw.
With McConville.
Really?
How about that?
Are you the official greeter and meter and kisser?
Apparently it happens at every round. I don't know why it's taken this long to get down to me.
Have they been with you, Brad?
Round 11.
I could be. No, it hasn't. Had so many things to say there, but I just couldn't say any of them.
Hey, lucky this is not live.
Hide my pregnant wife at home.
Where were we?
Cameron getting his photo taken with girls.
Where are you going in 2006? Everyone's talking about you at the moment, Mr. McConville.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, Beardo tipped you in anyway, so he's already told us. But you might as well try and confirm.
I've always been a big fan of Beardo, and it'll be sad to see him in that WPS Aussie racer next year. That's the way it is. He's got a very aggressive team boss.
I'll get you off the hook here.
Don't worry, we'll support you no matter where you go.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, we'll support you.
I'll just have another red frog. I should hopefully be in a position to formalise what I'm doing next week.
What position is that?
Well,
standing
missionary.
I will be
begging.
The best thing is for me, I will be driving a Holden V8 Supercar next year. so I won't be left out of.
As the way he's half rehearsed that in his head. He's
No,
thought,
no, I
oh,
hadn't actually.
how can I put a bit of spin on this to
I'll fix these.
grease up to those blokes at Fisherman's
that's
Bend?
Right. Don't worry, Plastic
Well,
hasn't
you
got
know.
the internet. He can't watch it.
Yeah,
You
you're
can't
right.
use a computer. Give me
No.
a break.
No, he's gone to the
I'll
Gary
get you off
school
the
there.
hook, mate. I'll get you off the hook. Speaking
Yeah.
of red frogs, tell us the story about when you did your ride to the mountain and how many
That was going to be my off the hook story.
Oh,
yeah, I'm getting him off the
these
hook early. He was
fantastic-
starting to sweat it up.
He
wasn't
was. Look at him.
It's amazing how much they bring you right up, these frogs, because the climb to the mountain we consumed around about 25 kilos of snakes.
Alan's snake. So if anyone from Alan's is
snake.
watching, we
In
love
fact,
Alan's.
Next year I have a couple of patches available on my driving suit.
Alan's. That
You would have
25
worked with a
kilos.
couple of snakes in your life, wouldn't you?
Oh, I have.
Hey,
I won't
yeah.
go there.
Yeah, that's
Quite
not very
slippery
nice.
snakes, actually.
Yeah.
What were those days in the Oryx Audi like?
Fantastic.
Oh, they were great.
Speaking
Talking to
of snake-
Cameron.
I thought we were going to hammer. I thought we were going to hammer Steve Nelly about eating 15 kilos of
How
red.
many kilos of frogs did Steve? Steve's a journalist, by the way, and he's not as athletic as Cameron.
Well, I think he went around about 6 to 7 power bars a day, but most of the time he was sitting in the back of the support vehicle. So
That was how many days were you on tour?
we were on tour for 10 days.
So what about the other 355?
Yeah, exactly.
How many power bars was he having?
No,
then?
he did do about 300 kilometres out of the 1,100.
How far did he ride though?
Good point. Actually, you know what? There is a funny story though, because we were taking bets on how long he would drop off the back on the first day, and people were saying Bundoora, Whittlesea, and I went, nah, Punt Road. Sure enough, 4 sets of lights down Punt Road, look behind, gone. He's out the back, and he missed a turn and ended up going to Ivanhoe instead of Fairfield.
I'm glad you've neatly taken us to the point in the program where we want to talk about betting, because I've got information through on Big Pond on TAB Sportsbet for this weekend. Race 1, Marcus Ambrose pays $4.25, Mark Scaife $4.75. Jason Richards, who's lurking in the back of our studio audience at the moment, we'll probably have him on the show later, $41.
It's got to do with Steve Nelly.
He was talking about bets. He mentioned the word bet.
What are my odds?
I'll find you here in a tick.
Yeah.
Just chat amongst yourselves.
Doesn't go down.
Have you?
Yeah,
I was very
61 bucks.
disappointed.
$61. I might go each way.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
We've heard that.
That's a nice nice message for his pregnant wife
Hang
at
on,
home, isn't it? He's going each way.
Isn't this a G-rated program?
It is.
It was.
It was.
We blew that in the first 5 minutes.
We're going to replay it at 10.
Garth Tander's podcasting. You can podcast this
Yeah, that's
program,
exactly
and it's being downloaded a lot. People
While
are
you're
listening.
talking about betting,
Steve Nelly probably download it and be very disappointed in the things you said about him.
He will. He
Neil
probably,
also
imagine what he's going to do to me with one of those power bars.
have you heard about the new betting system that was just opened up? In fact, Tasmania is the first place to get a license where you can actually bet on the losing team or the losing driver or the losing etc.
What are my odds?
$301.
Oh,
you get back for Bradley.
Geez,
300. That's
Actually, you were going quite pacey today, but
Yeah,
was
it
that
was.
you facing the wrong way at the hairpin?
Yes, it
Neil
was.
There was,
going-
and you know who was standing up there when that happened?
Oh, perfect. You give him the thumbs up?
No, I just stood there and made a note.
Right.
Spun, turn forward.
I wasn't
I
the
thought
only
you
one.
had time of
Everybody
day.
in Australia spun down there.
You'll follow me out the gate this morning. I think you're quite pacey. So at 300 to 1, I'd put $1 on you.
What was going on down the bottom here, down the bottom end here this afternoon? Everyone was spinning off. A lot of people were going off on the outside.
No trouble there, pal.
Hey?
No trouble there. I was fine.
Yeah.
Exploring the limits, I think.
Yeah,
they were.
Well,
Exactly.
you break down there. There's not too much of a break mark. You break around 200.
Yeah, it's really
and-
hard to read it, isn't
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
that's the
You know,
other
you
thing.
need- It's very high speed. I'm talking.
Go ahead, Bradley.
So it's very easy to get in a little bit too deep there, and when you do, it's quite a tight corner, third gear, and if you do get in a fraction too deep, you spear off.
He's getting back at you
Neil.
about the swearing.
Thanks.
Got a question?
I do, thank you,
For a
Bradley.
driver?
I do. I have a question for either of the professional drivers here on the panel.
Be you and me.
Yeah.
Fire away, Mr.
One of the
Crompton.
things that is a bit curious about the place is that on the approach to turn 4, the hairpin, and at the end of the back straight, as you both noted, there's no brake markers, there's no reference, there's nothing. Basically, you've got to do it by instinct down there. And in that sense, when you've come...
Incorrect, Neil. There's brake markers on the inside on the way down there.
Into
Where?
the hairpin.
Into the hairpin.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
is
hard
it?
to see though.
They are,
They are very, even when you're on the other side of the road.
I was using the limiter in 5th. When hit the limiter in 5th, I'd brake, but then I started using 6 and I had no hope.
Gee, 6 gear.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a few were.
Short shift.
Quite a few were.
Short
No,
shift.
quite a few blokes were
Yeah.
grabbing 6
But
down
then
there.
I went up the escape road once because the brake marker was all up the putt.
I'm busy enough running the limiter down there.
I tell you who was very strong down into there and just briefly grabbed 6th in that session today was Marcus. He would genuinely have to grab it. He was on the hard cut
Is that
in 5th.
right? Yeah.
And
Oh,
Good
short
news
shift.
for next year.
and yeah, well, actually, somebody asked me today, when do you get your engines? When does that begin?
Next year.
Gee, that
January
was
1.
worthwhile question, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, what can I say? Oh, well, great question, Neil. Something we're looking into, and next year.
Have you run one of your engines on the dyno versus their engines?
Yes, we have.
And?
It's quite a difference.
And?
I'm looking forward to next year.
See, you get there in the end, it just takes a little bit longer. We've got a lot of email, as always, from our fans around Australia. We've got one here from Andrew in Bulleen, Victoria, who wants to raise a question in relation to David Bernard and Stephen Richards, the incident that happened up at the Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago. If David did brake too early for the corner, is Richards still to blame? Also, this incident is very similar to one that you had in 2002, punted Richards. Did Richards brake too early in that incident, and why did you hit him? Finally, were you ever penalised for that? I just want to clarify because I never heard your side of the story. Well, that's irrelevant.
Is that one of Stephen's cousin or something?
That was a big punt, that one, mate. I remember watching
that was a big punt.
Yeah. They found, I think...
I haven't spoken to Peter Wallerman about the Gold Coast incident, but they pinged Stephen for it, obviously, and they were both pretty hot under the collar about it because there was a big exchange in the pit lane. It was a very hard one to ascertain who did what because they were both wandering around the track looking... Yeah. It was funny because Stephen actually gave him plenty of space in the chicane, and then he got back on him very quickly again.
The onus is always on the overtaking driver. That's exactly what they look at. So the onus was still on Richo to pass him cleanly.
I happened to walk into a conversation today about that very subject, and there was some Avesco personnel that are linked with the IPO, and they were saying that Bezzy braked the same spot within a metre or two every lap, and it was the same on the lap they had the accident.
I think it was one of those where they were both looking to make an advance, like one was trying to keep the other at bay and one was trying to make a pass, and it actually ended up being confusing where they ended up in the middle of the road. So,
I agree.
So that was that. Email 2 from Jason.
You didn't answer the second part of the question.
What was that?
Who cares? It's 4 years ago.
I care about you.
No, you don't. You do not.
Where did the two of you come together?
Where did you make contact with him?
Going onto the back, into the braking area. It was just a nose to tail. There was about 4 blokes involved in it.
I thought he was buried to his kneecaps.
Well, he was off the outside of the road.
Was that a payback?
No.
Okay. Neil's not that sort of bloke.
That sort of thing.
You're kidding, aren't you?
What about at Bathurst? What about at Bathurst? This is a great forum to bring this up. At Bathurst, when the whole Ambrose balaclava thing was going on, and we're rabbiting on because we're on for 10 hours, and I looked at him.
You were rabbiting on. I find that hard to believe.
I looked at him in the commentary box. I said, "So did you wear a balaclava when you drove?"
Gold.
What did you say? That's what he said. And I said, "Did you wear a balaclava while you're driving?" Yes, well, it is a...
At Sandown and Bathurst international races, I always wore a balaclava.
Absolutely.
But at the non-international races, I never wore a balaclava.
Really?
I hate them. Yeah, hate them. I can do it in open wheeler. I hate them in a touring car.
Only place I don't wear them is somewhere it's really hot, but everywhere else...
But what I didn't wear at Bathurst, which no surprise to you blokes or any of the other joints, was the underwear.
Oh, man.
But now everyone's got to wear it.
How hot is it with that?
It was toasty at Indy, I got to say.
Oh,
thanks, Marcus.
Ridiculous. Hey, I saw a really interesting... I was watching the FIA, or I think that's what it is, sports car race on the weekend. A couple of weekends ago, but I was watching it on Thursday when I got down here to Tasmania. Wait, Neil, before you, a guy jumped in the car from his pit stop, and he had his driving suit. Here, hold your arm.
I'll be a model.
Pulled up like this. Hey, look, Crompton had his driving suit up like that with his gloves on, and the commentator said, "There's Pierre, whoever his name is. Look at the way he's got his driving suit pulled up. He always races like that." And you could see that much of his skin on his arm. And I just sat there and looked at it and went, Jesus, lucky they're not in Australia.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue at the moment. Hey, did I get onto this email? No, because you pulled me up.
We were talking about you punting Stephen Richards into the boonies.
Nobody cares. It's ancient history.
Smith,
Someone did. They sent in an email.
Jason Smith. No. Jason Smith. He's got a question. It's quite a funny one, actually.
Yeah, that's good.
Can V8 supercar teams run their test track in reverse direction? I would have thought this would give them the benefit of 2 tracks for the price of 1.
Good question.
That's quite funny. Well, the answer is no, because the tracks are licensed to run one way, and the run-offs and the fences.
I've raced around Oran Park in the opposite direction.
I've been around Amaru Park in the old days when
no, that wouldn't have been nice.
Wow.
Scary.
Yeah.
Somewhere else I've been too, backwards, and I can't think where it was.
I can name him. Sandown, he was backwards. He's been backwards at Bathurst. I remember seeing him go through a fence somewhere once. He's
It's
also
the
been
payback for the swearing. This
Yeah, that's right.
How often do you swap? Do you
swore.
rotate your test tracks though? Because yours is Winton. When will you go to Phillip Island? And what do you guys
I'm not
do?
sure. I'm not sure that we will.
I
to tell you
think
the truth.
GRM are thinking along the lines of Phillip Island next year.
Because you can't keep banging around the same place.
I think
year after year, can you?
I think you plateau a bit and
You
you
get
stop
stale.
learning. You do get stale, and I think
And you start to make excuses. Oh, today's 13 degrees, and
Yeah,
yesterday was
exactly,
15, and if the
exactly.
wind blew up my nostrils, then my ears would go that way, and it's all that stuff.
particularly Winton. I know Brad will concur. It's very changeable. Isn't it? Just depends
concur.
on the day.
But it's
Like that word?
fantastic.
That is
I like-
definitely the word of the show. Write that
Concur.
down, someone concur, and
Brad
someone
will
pass me a
concur.
dictionary so I can work out what it means. I've got another one here from Mick in New South Wales. Hi guys, wondering if you could tell us how long
Hi, Mick.
James Courtney's contract at Stone
3
Brothers?
years.
3 years.
Three.
Big 3. Is it goodbye, Cameron?
Yes.
Goodbye, Cameron.
Rightio. Thanks for having me.
You don't want to add anything before you go?
Yeah, you want to
No.
tell us where you're going?
Oh, I can't really.
Don't worry.
Hang on.
Hey. Don't worry. We'll keep it to ourselves.
Just between us.
Yeah, just between us girls. How is
That's a super idea, Brad, but I can't
Yeah.
go along with that.
You bloke.
We really wish you well.
Thank you.
I think it's break
that
time
note.
here on the panel beaters. You're probably all asleep by now, but those of you that are still awake, stay with us, because on the other side of the break we'll talk to another bloke who's got a bit of a story to tell in this game at the moment. Young Jason Richards is going to join us right here on the panel beaters. It's my cue to say hello and welcome back to the panel beaters. We're broadcasting live from Symmons Plains Raceway in the Big Pond Media Centre. Panel beaters is the program. Leigh, Diffey, Bradley Jones, and our special guest at the other end who's just re-signed, not resigned, re-signed his contract for the next how many thousand years? How long have you got?
2.
2 big years for Jason Richards. Welcome back to our panel. We were watching, looking, listening and learning down the end there today at the hairpin, watching you in action, and it looked like the car was pretty competitive. Where did you end up at the end of things today? In the top 10? 9th?
Yeah, 9th.
Very good
That's good.
performance. That car of yours sounds trick. What has old boy Pard or Ronnie done with the exhaust system on that car? She's all Formula 1.
I've been told it's the exhaust tips.
I beg your pardon?
It's the exhaust tips, apparently.
It's easy for him to say as a Kiwi. We apologise for those youngsters listening.
No, look, it's well, I'm not even going to go there. No, it does sound good. Look, you can't really hear a major difference on inside the car, but I obviously had the ability to listen to it when Jamie was driving it at Bathurst, and you can really it just defines itself on the track, and you sort of know, yep, he's gone around for another lap, she's all good.
We haven't seen you for a little while. I mean, I've bumped you a couple of times in the pit paddock, but our congratulations, well, at least Leigh and I, Bradley probably couldn't care less, but congratulations for your fine performance at Sandown and at Bathurst. Well
Yes.
done, mate.
Thank you.
Fantastic effort.
Yeah.
See, I care.
That was really sincere, Bradley.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Bradley really cares and shares. He likes to see his fellow competitor doing well.
It's great that you've re-signed. Neil's got a couple of questions here. He wants to know how much you're getting paid, how long the deal's for.
Yeah, and what's in it for me?
What's in it for him?
Yeah.
The big story, Jason, was that you fended off the big challenge and the money offered to you by Ford and FPR. Is that true?
Oh, look, I wouldn't put it quite like that. I don't think I'm Craig Lowndes quite yet, but look, it was a big decision I had to make, and there was certainly pros and cons for both. And at the end of the day, I think I've been in this championship long enough to know that continuity is a very important part, and working with the same people year after year, getting the most out of your car year after year is going to put you closer to the grid. And after the performance of Tasman Motorsport in the last few rounds, you've got to say that we're getting closer, and I didn't want to jump ship just before so for someone to walk into maybe some greatness next year.
You could do a lot worse.
Could do.
I mean... How
How long's the deal for?
Couple of years.
He did, well, that was the very
That was
first
the first
question
question.
that I asked
Yeah.
him.
Thanks
Pay
for-
attention
thanks
to your
for
own
listening.
program,
I was
Mel.
too busy reading those other questions you wanted to ask him.
Um,
How much money? Well, that's shocking, Neil. You shouldn't ask that sort of question, especially here.
We've got email here from Joe, who actually is directing a question at you, young Bradley. He's got a question about the Diploma of Motorsport course. He's considering doing the course at the Southern Queensland Institute of TAFE, and he's wondering how easy it might be to get into a V8 Supercar team after graduating. P.S. Rusty, love your impersonations, and when will you be bringing out an album?
He is fantastic.
Here, watch a bloke sweat up. Do one of the impersonations, Rusty.
Oh, can't,
I'm not Rusty.
can't do any of them.
No.
He can do Barney Rubble, though.
And I don't even have to try.
Bradley, we want to...
Quick, someone get in the suit. Well, I think those courses are great. We've had the one in Albury, we've had maybe 10 or 12 guys come from that course through our business over the period of time that's been established. And really, it depends on your work ethic and how badly you want to get into it. So, but I think that's a great place to start if you're a mechanic, or even if you're not, you do one of those courses. It certainly gives you an opportunity to say, hey, I'm that interested in motorsport, I've gone off and done this TAFE course. So I think it's a great idea.
Do you take a few guys in, as placement?
Yeah,
placement?
12
of them.
Yeah, over the past.
Is that true?
Yeah. Well, what do you think I said?
No.
No, it's actually a flat-faced lie.
Yeah.
We've only really taken 11, but I made up the 12 to make myself look more important.
Bradley Jones, by the way, swore on the Gold Coast. He really, I feel, brought the sport into disrepute. And if you'd like to say something about it, if you'd like to contribute in any way, shape or form on the email as your thoughts about that issue, then feel free to just blaze away and tell us what you think, and don't hold back.
Neil invaded my privacy on the Gold Coast, and I'm not standing for it.
That's right. We've got another...
Him and that Steve Wood.
We've got another... you should have heard his brother this afternoon. You know what the line from the Jones camp is at the moment?
We're standing up for justice.
They have
Australian
purchased
way.
the licence. They've purchased the licence from the Spectrum managers in Australian radio wave land, and that it's theirs.
Hey, no one cares.
And you're the blokes peddling the story.
Well, who cares?
And,
no one cares here. Send in an email. Tell Neil I don't care.
And that we are eavesdropping, and really we ought not to be, because that's illegal, because they own the frequency. That's what they were going on with.
And that's it.
Send your emails.
Yeah.
Speaking of emails, we have one here from
Joel
McKellar from Bundoora in Melbourne. His question is, why are the cars currently at the speed level they're at? Why can't we engineer them to be a bit quicker? Because in some cases, some of the support class cars are very close in lap speed performance should the V8s go quicker. I can probably invite comment from the boys, but I know from my days on the safety panel, gentlemen, that there's certainly a resistance to the cars being much quicker lap speed wise, because the mass of the cars is huge. They're very big and heavy. Every time they get a bit quicker, it puts more pressure on the runoffs and the safety systems, the fences, the catch fences, the gravel traps and so on. So certainly when you...
fences for a while,
I'll tell you what, how's it down into the hairpin here? They've put a tyre pile a bit further up the hill. Did you notice that today?
No.
I don't think I'd like to hit that.
I was actually looking for the apex.
Yeah.
Brian, didn't you spin there?
No, I didn't.
Look up.
Jeez, I tell you what though, you went very close at one point. We watched you arrive.
Did I spin? There was a question.
No, Your Honour. Let the record show that you didn't spin, but you went up there one time looking like Ari Vatanen, and you had about 5 blocks on, and it went all the way up there on the rear brake, and when you sort of took your foot off the brake pedal and looked the right way, you went, oh Jesus, pointing the right way, and you just gassed it up and off you went.
I saw one of those Tasman cars shoot up this escape road.
No. You should have asked our previous guest. It might have been him.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'll check with our studio audience and get back to you on that one.
Yeah, but to be honest, Neil, and you're not going to believe me, but
you're right.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So race car drivers don't know how to tell the truth. Yeah. Anyway, keep on going, Jason.
Why don't you slag that Jamie Whincup? He's gone now. He's left the team. He's a splitter. It was him that spun.
Yeah. I know. What I'm saying to you is that we shared quite a lot of understeer there.
You what?
We had a lot of understeer at the hairpin, so I thought, well...
Bloody Kiwis, I can't understand
you. Well, you sound like Wally on the radio.
Nobody sounds like Wally on the radio.
But so I was actually trying to use my rear brake to turn the car, but
I saw that.
Too hard.
Yeah. As a rally driver, you're fantastic in a V8 supercar.
Getting back to that speed question, do you think they need to be much faster? Because I think the tracks here in Australia are quite narrow.
They're going to have a problem in a minute, because apparently the new Porsche is very fast, and they're very concerned that the new Porsche is going to be faster than the V8 supercars. So, but the problem is, if you make the cars go much faster, we're going to start outgrowing the circuit. So,
yeah, exactly.
So a simple fix is tyres, isn't it? Like give us more grip, we'll go faster.
You put a better tyre on the car, something with a better compound on it, I should say. It'll be faster.
And that's with the Michelin's on the Porsches, it's softer, and they have a drive tyre, a steer tyre, whereas the current V8 supercar crop, I guess we've got the drive tyre, well, the tyres are the same front and rear, and it's a controlled compound.
It's a very hard compound.
It's a pretty hard compound, but it goes for majority of our races, which are obviously a lot longer than the support category. So we need something a bit more durable.
Enough of all that. Are you filthy with that Jamie Whincup for pinching that seat at 888 and you didn't get a sniff in there?
Yeah, no, but I thought I was that close.
Yeah,
but,
and you just got completely nailed.
Yeah.
See, he's joined the right sort of bloke for that kind of behaviour, because Craig the Knife will do a job on him.
He's had a few teammates, hasn't he?
He's had a few teammates. Look what happens to them. We've got another one here. This is it Happy Brad night? Where's all the emails for Diffey and myself?
Well, you're not a man of the people, unfortunately.
Oh.
I don't see you out the back signing autographs, hugging babies,
I signed
smiling
one
for
today.
cameras. One autograph.
One today.
Yeah.
Okay, man of the people, answer this.
His media window's down.
Yeah. Do you want to
My
tell
sonny's on.
I thought it was picking up, actually. I thought one was pretty good.
Okay, Mr. Media Friendly. Is there any truth in the rumour that Pertec pulled the pin on SBR because SBR are supplying engines to you, you thieving dog, and you've got NZ as a sponsor?
Good question.
Hey, good question, and it doesn't even
Well,
have, that person hasn't put their name on it.
I don't know. There was a bit of that banter. I don't really. I mean, there was a bit of that banter around, but really, could you imagine, why would they stop sponsoring the car that's won the championship twice? Because that team's giving us engines. I wouldn't. I mean, I can't imagine someone making a big business decision on that, but maybe it's possible.
Yeah, but it's
I don't know.
competition in the marketplace.
It has been bandied around.
Bandied around. We've got another email here from Sarah wanting to know how long Jamie Whincup's contract's for at 888.
3 years I've been reading his press release, which he didn't even tell me that. I couldn't even get that out.
3 years.
I asked him.
Funny you should mention that. I was with him last Thursday and I said, so, great news about next year. And he went, it's not done yet.
Coming back to that point that race car drivers.
Never kid a kidder, I said to him as I passed on a bit of information.
So how long is it for?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. I guess unless Craig gets to him.
Yeah. Lots of luck with that program.
Good luck, Jamie, if you're watching.
Here's another one. He'd be drinking champagne and stuff now back at the hotel, wouldn't he?
He's a beer drinker, I'll have
Is
you
he?
know. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he's a party boy.
He doesn't want to He doesn't want to have a couple of VBs. But
Sure, he doesn't.
Remember one of the sponsors of the series. And,
sure, he knocks back the odd Chardonnay, but traditionally a beer drinker.
If he's not right on his game, that's an opportunity for old Craig the Knife to just get straight in there.
I reckon.
Why don't V8s
right.
This is more email, by the way. This is not just questions that I dream up. Why don't V8s have a staggered grid like Formula 1 cars that might help reduce the term on incidents?
Because
I know the answer to that, actually.
Yeah, because you'd end up just about starting at the back of the...
Correct. Track density at a lot of our events is 32, 34 or more cars, whatever. So... like Bathurst and so on. So when we get to...
Imagine at Bathurst you'd start in the chase.
Yeah, they used to in the old days. They went around the corner.
I was fourth last.
You're actually lucky to see the lights anyway, aren't you? If you have a poor...
Bradley's never seen the light.
Okay, scores 2-1 in my favour.
Okay, I'm feeling good
another
tonight.
30 minutes to go.
We're away. Now, here's another one. Tell Bradley this is a professional show. Get the words right when you throw to a great pal.
Yeah,
By the way, Diff... Why is Diff in the full Big Pond kit? He looks like a Teletubby.
I know. Have a look at that.
Got to be Greg Rice.
Look at how thick this is.
Oh, yeah. One of my colleagues, in fact, my boss from Network 10, David White, said to me today...
Great bloke.
Great, fantastic man.
Wonderful,
one of the finest men I've ever worked for.
Wonderful human.
He said, hey, he's used a bit of your terminology. Hey, idiot, you look like a 10-pound sausage in a 5-pound skin.
the big puff machine.
And if it was anybody else, I'd have knocked his teeth down.
That's right. You said yes, Mr. White. I'll change that immediately.
That's right. Whatever you say, sir. And, oh, yeah, love the show, boys, and I really miss Rusty's contribution. He is watching over there. You on the other side of the...
Did that come from WA?
It must have. He's on the other side of the country.
Why
He must
is
be busy doing
You're
the
supposed
rally.
to be busy. Cover the rally. By the way, Chris Atkinson had a fantastic start to the day, and then ultimately a mechanical drama over there in
I thought you were gonna
Rally
say he had a
Australia.
shunt.
No, he didn't have a shunt, but I don't know what the details are, but he's certainly...
Maybe Rusty could send...
Rusty,
if
seeing
you
you've
could
got all that
send us an
spare
email.
time, send us an email so that we know what happened.
Probably sent that this morning.
And started writing it on Wednesday.
Yeah, because if he's on tonight, he'd be combing his hair somewhere, wouldn't he? Aren't he joking?
Oh, here's another one from him, which I won't read, you idiot.
Hey, none of the in-gags.
Yeah, I know. It shouldn't be an in-gag program. But there is certainly a lot of email lurking here. There's been a lot of talk about what's happening at DJR. This one is from Simon. Can we spill the beans? Is Junior Johnson changing camps? Well, I spoke to Steve a couple of hours ago. He's pretty certain of the fact that he's going to resign that contract. And there's obviously a bit of pressure on Glenn Seaton. And there's still talk of Will Davison being there next year.
And which Glenn's handling really well, I've got to say. I was at a Ford breakfast on Thursday, and one of the questions was, Glenn, there's a lot of chat about Will Davison. Do you think you're going to be able to stay in the seat? And he said, well, I've got a contract for next year, but we've got Stephen Johnson in the team, and his dad owns it. Maybe he can answer that question for us.
And what did Stephen say?
Yeah, man, he kept on stepping on his tongue. It should have been one of those ones where you went, look, the old man runs a team. I haven't signed yet. I'm not too sure what's going on, but he'll sort it out. And he said, well, it could be my seat. I haven't signed. And he just dug himself deeper and deeper and deeper. And in the end, someone said to him, stop.
Incidentally, if you would like to attend the Big Pond Grand Finale of this series at Phillip Island in a couple of weeks' time, it's going to be a huge race meeting down there. It's the first time we've wrapped up the series at Phillip Island ever, in my memory. We've never finished at Phillip Island before, have we?
Never.
We were down there for MotoGP, and the place is looking
Looks fantastic. They've done a great
really
job,
good.
as always, down there with the preparation of the race circuit. So Ticket Tech, I think, was the place. Ticketmaster, silly me.
Ticketmaster. What were you thinking, Neil?
Oh, I'm just such a zoo.
They won't be sponsoring the show anymore.
Ticketmaster. That's the place where you can get tickets
If we could just get back to Glenn Seaton for a minute.
for
If
the
he
Big
does,
Pond Grand Finale.
yes, and be there. If he does end up not being at DJR, there's really not much opportunity for him, is there?
Could he switch camps and end
He
up
could.
alongside Jason?
He could. I doubt it very much because I don't think he would probably. I mean, he's going into the twilight years, isn't he?
Well,
Bradley, with you,
he
so I
had a
wouldn't think.
thing.
Why would you
Hey,
jump?
go easy on the twilight years, Mel.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being in your mid-40s, bucko.
Pal.
Yeah, except when you don't
Everybody gets there.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
So what was I trying to say?
That Win
Before
Cup
you
won't
really-
make it
No,
because
I
Craig
was
the Knight
making a
will do a
great
job
point.
on him.
No, I don't think he'll swap camps in the last couple of years.
Well, he could have driven for HRT, so the story goes, a couple of
Right.
years ago, and he knocked that back because he didn't want to get out of the Ford. But really,
He
if
is
you
very.
look,
We had breakfast with him this morning, and he's.
We?
Myself, my colleagues, some friends,
Rusty. Yeah, keep on going.
and asked him that question. And it was a legitimate question. Would you consider driving a Holden? And he said, I find that very difficult. He said, I've got a lot of very loyal fans. He's not like you and I, where we just
go for the money.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a Ford
not
man
like
through and through. My blood cut me on blue.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, I'm getting more red.
Yeah. So then he said no, and then I said, well, we need to take you out the back and have a little talk to you then, Sunshine. So
Well, and there's really not much opportunity. Maybe at
Larco's.
Fujitsu, Larco, yeah, but they're probably the only two that have got a seat available. That'd be a bit sad, wouldn't it?
Valerie ends up at Larkham's, and
Right.
then it looks there's some pretty strong talk around that Canto is as good as done at Gary Rogers, perhaps.
he was as good as done today. He had a lower control arm slice through a rim and fire him off the road.
Where'd he end up?
That'll wake him up.
He ended up off the road.
He was way down 30th.
More email here from Matt in Brisbane. We're just about to go to a break, but Matt's enjoying the show. Good on you, Matt. And Bradley, with the number of Ford teams leasing SBR engines now, where and why are they doing it much better? I think I understand what you're saying than the other Ford teams.
Well, they've just been able to squeeze a bit more out of the engine. I mean, right through the range. Why? I don't know why, but they've managed to do it. And for us, it's really an easy decision to make. We've got 3 or 4 teams there now, and instead of us all paying our own development costs and all possibly heading in the same direction, that gets pooled, and hopefully it'll make for faster engines.
Tell me, Bradley, you can
Fire away, Jace. Ready for it?
Yeah,
Question me.
ready.
Go.
Question number 1.
Yeah, fire.
Is
How much are you earning next year?
Do you get the opportunity to buy like this level, or do you have to buy at the top level, or what's the sort of structure there?
I never really got into that too much. For us, it was, and I know you had Holden Motorsport engines.
Yes.
Maybe that's structured like that, but the deal that we have in place is we get the same opportunity as what Triple Eight get, and obviously what they have themselves. And so I expect our engines to be of that specification, unless there's got a development engine or something going on at the time, that our engines will mirror their engines for the for the period.
You should be able to pull out and pass Lounsey or Ambrose.
Should be able to stick with them at least.
Good. Good luck to you.
Did you notice today that
I didn't like the way he finished that.
That was really sincere. I'd say that was about as sincere as
I didn't
you
like
wishing
that
him well
much.
at Sandown and Bathurst. Yeah, that was good.
I've got a tech question for you, Bradley, very quickly. We saw Triple Eight come out with this multi-spoke rim. I mean, I'll do a quick diagram.
A-Tech.
You should be an artist.
Oh, yeah.
Very good,
I
very
used
good.
to be a school teacher.
Yeah, nice.
And I noticed today that FPR are using them. David Brabham's using them now as well.
So is
but
DJR.
but they're not. They're saying
And
that
so,
there's
yeah,
no advantage. So why change?
There's a bit of cooling
I've heard
advantage.
a bit of cooling.
Is there?
Yeah. I've heard that a couple hundred degrees cooler at a high temperature break. I guess there's less volume of spoke there, so I guess the air can escape.
Is that something you might look at?
Oh, possibly. They're about the same price, and your coat's just sitting on the mic there, buddy.
The Buzz Lightyear coat.
Yeah.
And
Straighten up, Teletubby, or you'll be in trouble.
I think the other wheels are in short supply at the moment as well.
Right. It's going to be quite an expensive exercise. Everybody has to go do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We've got to go to a break. We're getting serious pressure, time pressure at the moment. However, one quick question. I saw tangling on the Gold Coast in qualifying or the shootout in our Big Pond coverage up there with Greg Murphy, who has a connection to your team.
In the shootout?
You came out of the pits. Sorry, it must have been qualifying. You came out of the pits on cold tyres and you got a whack from him. Then we didn't see it, but I understand you returned serve at some point, and then you two had a little bit of friction at one.
Yeah, is the IPO watching or not?
No,
he's not. Yeah.
Mate, we won't tell a soul.
Yeah, no, we went through a chicane and he was obviously pretty keen to keep the lap going. He's fired me in the back and put me into the fence. I've sort of saved it somehow, and I've chased after
Called
him.
on all that natural ability of yours. Keep on going, keep on going.
I didn't run out, no.
Yeah.
And I've gone up and just give him a wee thank you for that, and I'll give you one back, and we'll call it square. And then we had a bit of a discussion about it later. So
did you ever think that was a bad career move, seeing that it's called Greg Murphy Motorsport? Did that ever cross your mind?
That's interesting, no. I found out if blood was thicker than water, and I won't give you the answer.
Did you hit him very high?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was on a qualifying lap, was he?
Yeah. No, but he
backed off.
Yeah.
And he hit the second chicane.
He hit me at the second
he hit him hard too.
Yeah,
he gave him a big wallop.
The lap's over. Oh, he was starting one.
No, Greg Murphy hit him first.
But if he'd finished his qualifying lap, or you're saying he was...
No, he was starting it.
Oh, right,
I've just come out of the pits.
So he's giving you one, yeah.
Yeah. How's your
taking Bradley Wilder spool up here.
Yeah, but anyway, he's hit me, and then he's decided to abort the lap.
Yeah.
And I said to him, what am I going to do? Just disappear? Hit the disappear button? I mean, like, I'm wobbling through there anyway. I had to let another car
It is hard on cold tyres to get around.
Exactly. And anyway, he's obviously... been a bit keen to get past, and
bit of Kiwi aggro.
Yeah, a bit of Kiwi aggro. Right. So
and you
did you do the harker at him?
We actually
tackled you when he come at you. Did you fire into the harker? I'll fix you, pal. Bloody white New Zealanders that fire one into him.
Look, it's all good. We've kissed and made up, and
ooh, that's an ugly thought.
Anyway, we'll leave it to that, eh?
Yeah, we will. Jason Richards, thank you very much for dropping in. Congratulations on your new deal, and best of luck on the weekend. We shall take a break on the panel beaters with Big Pond, and we'll be back right after this. Good evening and welcome back to the Greg Rust Show. My name's Neil Crompton. This is Greg Rust's impersonator and Bradley Jones.
Hello.
That was very low key.
Listen, Rusty, we've put your email address and connected it to the spam account, so stop sending us emails because it's all going straight in the bin.
Yeah, you'll love this. You know, we were talking World Rally before, and he's perched over on the other side of the country there, chasing blokes around in the dirt. From Greg Rust, would you like me to give out his email address?
Yeah,
wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
We'll get you. It's grust, at walloped.com.au.
I'm thinking it's Big Pond if you want to try it.
Yeah. He won 2 stages, that being Chris Atkinson, because we talked about him earlier on. He won 2 stages this morning.
Fabulous. That's fair.
It is fantastic. We should acknowledge that. I mean, that stuff. Yeah, big round of applause, because at that level, it is unbelievably competitive and unbelievably difficult to succeed. And at least he's back, I guess, on home turf. His co-driver's got an understanding of the conditions over there, and it's really worked to his advantage, which hopefully gets factored in if he's going to get a deal together for 2006.
He has got a deal for 2006.
Okay, well, I'm
good to see you got your finger on the pulse, Neil.
That's me, Mr. Motorsport. So he's won 2 stages this morning, and he was leading the rally by 10 seconds when something broke in the steering, and he's fuming about it. He was 5 Ks into stage 6, that's easy for me to say, when the steering wheel went off centre and the car began ploughing along. He dropped 2 minutes and is currently 12th. There was no damage to the car, and Chris is adamant he didn't hit anything. Now, and here's the tag to the story. Any truth to the rumour that Darryl Eastlake has been signed to replace Diff, who's off to host a new reality marriage guidance counselling show?
That's quite appropriate at the moment.
That's very good, Gregory. That'll probably be the last time that you get a run on this program. Boys, lots going on in international motorsport. We had A1 Grand Prix out at Eastern Creek last weekend.
51,000 people.
Over the 3 days.
3 days.
A little bit of cumulative counting there, but we've seen that before. Won't mention names, but that does happen. But apparently I didn't get out there at all We had Champ Car on Sunday on Network 10, but apparently it was quite good. Brian Herder, who's an old friend from the US, was driving in Team USA's car.
Neil's a name dropper. Yeah, keep going.
Brian Herder was driving, and he's an old friend. What's
yeah,
wrong with
going.
that?
Yeah.
Brad Jones is an old friend. Is that a name drop?
Do not throw my name around loosely, please. Old friend.
Keep going.
He
rang you? Did you take him water skiing?
No, he was only in the country briefly. He arrived Thursday and he departed Monday, but I did have lunch with him last Monday.
Oh.
And Scott Sharp, who was in town.
Sharpie.
Who's been driving for Adrian Fernandez this year in the IRL.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I going with all that?
Don't know.
Said the cars were a little awkward to drive.
I was disappointed how fast he was going, to tell you the truth. Herder, I thought he would have been quicker.
He had huge problems with the car. Setup problems with the car. Without going into technicalities, some of the things that were on that car, what are they doing up there? Some of the things that were on that car, spring and anti-roll bar wise and what have you, were just unsuitable for that track.
Right,
so he really battled, and the bottom line is that they're looking to do better in the next race, which is in Malaysia.
Will he drive it?
Hasn't there?
Yes, he will drive it.
Been a little bit of that so far in the A1 series, because there's drivers of good calibre that are down kind of a little bit further than where they should be.
But all the cars are basically similar, aren't they? They just play around with the spring shocks and roll bars and stuff.
I just got some email through talking about things international. Toyota have literally just announced, only a few minutes ago, that they have finalised and signed off on a multi-year agreement with Bridgestone for next year, which was rumoured, but it's now been confirmed. So, and that means that they join Williams next year on Bridgestone. And incidentally, in the Network 10 coverage of this round this weekend, Mark Webber's joining us on Sunday.
Race 2.
Do you notice how I just kind of had to do that to think it through?
What about the big F1 news with Adrian Newey going to Red Bull Racing?
That's huge.
That
is he definitely going?
Gone.
Yeah, gone.
Can you believe that? And his mate Bobby Rahal, who they worked together back in the old days when there was Steve Horn, Bobby Rahal, Adrian Newey together as a quorum in IndyCar racing. Looked like Bobby had pulled that deal off a few years ago, and Uncle Ron intervened and said, no, that's not going to happen. But I reckon there were some fractures left after that.
Yeah, that's right.
And the first contract opportunity, Adrian's bolted, and funnily enough, gone to the very same place, only with a new name and some different people.
And plenty more money, I should imagine. But it would be interesting, because I'm sure he'd be sitting there going, challenge has gone a bit, we win everything, I'm right on the top of my game. But goes to work every day.
He's only a bloke in his mid-40s, he'd be worth a fortune.
And he'd be going, you know what, I want to see if I can start with nothing.
And make it something.
And that's what that'd be all about, which is what he would have almost done last time. But I'm sure Ron would have come along and said, don't worry, we're going to do a boat and we're going to do this, and you'll be involved in all that, and you won't have to do Formula 1 anymore. And he signed the contract and he goes, get in that office.
It's an interesting thing that once your heart goes somewhere else, I reckon it's always very difficult to stay engaged. A quick plug once again for the Big Pond Grand Finale breakfast, which is on the Thursday prior to our final round. Great opportunity to get down there and meet with the drivers and watch what will be a fantastic show. $85 a ticket. All the details are on the v8supercar.com.au website. Talking about the Big Pond Grand Finale coming up, also tickets are available with Ticket
Master.
Correct. Are you calling me Master, or is that just their name? Ticketmaster. For all the details, again, on the V8 Supercar website. We've got one more question here from Brad. It's aimed at the guys, not Brad for once. The old Brad show here all night.
Just sit back for a moment.
Pan out.
Do we? Oh, that Jamie Wincup's lurking up the back again. Someone just get the Mortine out and try and get rid of him?
Call Craig.
Call Craig. Do a job on him. Craig the knife. Gone.
We need all the support we can get.
We're nearly out of time.
Come on in, Jamie.
Come on. Oh, he's gone. We did get rid of him. No, he's back. Do you think there'd be any advantage in going to a larger wheel, say a 19-inch? Love the show. By the way, keep them coming, Brad. Brad's such a nice guy. 19-inch wheels been talked about in the past, but it's probably not going to get up.
No, I don't think it's going to get up.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, it won't get up for a number of reasons, because people want to put bigger brakes on the cars. 19-inch would be more suitable in some aspects, because there's a number of tyre manufacturers that do make 19-inch tyres. The tyres that we use in our category are very... what's the right word, Neil? Unusual.
Paying attention. Yeah, it's an unusual. It's unique.
It's a very unique size, and so 19s would be better. But no, I doubt that we'll ever get to them.
Thank you, Bradley.
A wheel is about $1,000 a piece, and each of us have about 60 of them.
Yeah, so there's a serious financial reason why we're not going to change, and that dates back as far back as WGR when Wayne was the importer of Michelin, and we were trying to do Michelin deals way back when.
When the chief was trying to get everyone to run on Michelins.
No, he just wanted 19-inch wheels, 18-inch wheels, so that we could run on them.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story for a whole nother show, and that whole nother show will come to you live on the Friday night from the Big Pond Grand Finale at Phillip Island on... What is the date for Phillip Island? I need to look on my calendar.
Last weekend in November.
Thank you very much for that, Leigh Diffey, and also thank you very much for coming in here tonight and playing Greg Rust.
Thank you for having me.
It's an ugly job, but someone's got to do it. Hello, Rusty, and if you like, just stay on the other side of the country. We didn't miss you one little bit.
I miss you, Rusty. I miss you impersonations,
Proof
and I can't
positive
wait
for
for you to
Hedgehog
come
again.
back. Yeah, he's a great bloke, Rusty.
Yeah.
That's not what you said before we went on air.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know that.
We've just been told. Bradley, thank you. Good luck this weekend. Leigh, thanks for dropping by.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you for spending time with us on Big Pond tonight, and we look forward to your company in a couple of weeks' time at Phillip Island. Huge round this weekend for Ferodo, the Triple Challenge. 3 races, 1 Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Join us on Big Pond and, of course, on Network 10. Thanks for your company tonight, and we'll see you next time.
How close